to save the day.
You thought that we'd leave y'all hanging during your fantasy playoffs? Never. We are just a little late. Just a little. What is up, everyone? We are here for the fantasy, well, not even fantasy football wake-up call, just the football wake-up call. We're talking all things football every Sunday morning, all year long. I'm joined with my guest, Tony Tucker. Joe Morley is backstage and will be joining us shortly, I believe. Tony, are you pumped? How many playoff games you got today?
Well, I have a toilet bowl matchup, so I don't know if that counts. But other than that, I have 3 this week and 1 bye week. So I went 4 of 6, and I feel good about it. Should have went 6 of 6.
Nice. I'm in a couple myself. I think I'm in 4. I think I'm playing 4 playoff games because of all the follower leagues. Of course, I have a lot of leagues. But it's not been a great start. I'll be honest. I mean, the bright spot is Gibbs. So we're starting off with the bright spot. Gibbs went off. I played against Sam Laporta, though, in one league. I think I had him in another league, though, so it kind of balanced out. But the biggest mistake I made, Tony, is this Tyreek Hill situation. And I was complaining to you about it last night at the party. Joe hosted a fabulous Christmas party last night, and it did end up coming back to bite me in the ass because Jordan Addison is sitting with a 30 burger on my bench right now, and Tyreek Hill was ruled out about 20 minutes ago.
So in that scenario, like, this is the advice I would have given if you would have reached out, was you play Jordan Addison when you have 2 guys that are questionable. You had a Olave that was questionable and Tyreek.
It was DJ Moore, but same thing.
Or
yeah.
DJ Moore, yeah. So you got a couple questionable guys. Play the guy that's healthy and then figure out the rest later. Because it's...
Yeah. I should have played Addison in Moore's spot because I'm also worried about Moore, and now I need Moore to carry me. But he's dealing with an ankle injury. That's not a good injury for receivers to be dealing with and trying to play it through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the team sounds like it's deep enough to weather whatever little storm you're in right now. But I think that one of the things that I did notice was, like, we've had some significant injuries already in fantasy football. And this is when it comes down to, like, really following the wire and, like, finding that one player that, like, you'll talk about forever. You know, like, as fantasy football nerds, you always find that one guy that's like that's there. The first big fantasy, like, really competitive championship I ever won was Matthew Stafford went for 5,000 yards that year, and then I think I got Rob Gronkowski off the waiver wire, and my team was unstoppable.
Off the waiver wire, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, nobody knew who it was. I think Ben Watson was, like, the starting tight end or something for the Patriots at the time.
Kyron Williams probably was drafted, right, in leagues?
No,
Maybe
he wasn't. I actually...
that might be the guy this year. That might be the one.
He is that guy. But in our league, this is why I'm a Chargers fan. I had the number 1 buy because I picked 12. Or I had the number 1 waiver pick because I picked 12. And I had a choice between Josh Kelly, because Eckler goes down in week 1 and they're projecting 4 weeks absence. And I just saw what they did against the Dolphins in week 1. Or Kyron Williams, who played okay in week 1. Those were the top 2. And I went with Josh Kelly.
Never going to do that again.
Kyron Williams has more points in one fantasy game this year than Josh Kelly has in the entire season.
I'm saying you're never picking Josh Kelly over anyone ever again. That's sick. Also, a kid that balled out this week. I know the Vikings lost, and I'm bragging on all their players' fantasy scores, but Ty Chandler could be the guy that's sneaky, that saved someone who lost a key player in their lineups here down the stretch of the season. He looked pretty good, and I think Alexander Madison, his injury came at the worst time, where the Vikings now have lost, and they are cool with trying out some younger guys. Worst time for his career, I should say. Because he wasn't impressive this year. Everyone expected Alexander Madison to have a great year.
Yeah, I think he had spots, right? He played pretty well against the Chargers, but lots of players do. Lots of people do. And O'Connell did. I would say that, like, I think that this offense this year is, like, still trying to figure it out. I do think, however, that Ty Chandler will be the guy moving forward. Like he's pretty big, but he's also got that like 4.38 like burst speed at the end where he's got an opportunity to be there. There's a couple questions. You want to answer these?
Yeah, let's get to these questions.
Around?
You guys can throw anything you want in the chat, but especially if you have fantasy questions, we have a panel here. We can answer these questions. DJ Moore or Rashee Rice? Rice has been on a heater. He started to separate himself as Mahomes' favorite target down the stretch of the year. DJ Moore obviously dealing with an ankle injury, but dude is balling out as well. I think he scored, I don't know what he did last week, but the week before he did like 26 points or something. DJ Moore has been steady this year. He's been pretty solid when Justin Fields has been in the lineup. What do you think, Tony?
I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Rashee Rice as much as I can be since he's a Chief. I picked him up in Dynasty earlier this year, and I'm starting him this week I started him over T. Higgins. I'm starting him over Chris Godwin. I started him over Josh Palmer. So right now, I need Rashee Rice to go over 20 points because Higgins and Palmer both have already scored 20 points. So that's not why I'm telling you to play him. I just think that this is an opportunity for Rashee Rice to have like established back-to-back, I'm the number one target for Patrick Mahomes momentum. Like the Chiefs know they need this game. He's been the most consistent guy. Belichick's going to try and take away Travis Kelce. That's just what he does. So Rashee Rice maybe ends up with 10 targets, 80 or 90 yards and a touchdown. I like the game that he could have today.
I think both these guys could ball out today. I can't put DJ Moore down, man. He's balling out too much, so we're not helping you at all here, Aben. I'm going DJ Moore.
Playing somebody good today, right?
The Bears are playing the Packers, I believe. No,
they're playing somebody good. I said.
Sorry, cheeseheads.
It's all good.
They're playing Cleveland.
DJ has the ankle injury.
Cleveland. Yeah, but he's got 70 points in the last 3 weeks, Tony. You sit him?
Yeah, so in Cleveland's defense has shown that it's like
they're good.
Really weird. It's either the greatest defense, since the Ravens last Super Bowl championship, or it's like just bad. And it's gonna be this is a big game for Justin Fields too. I know we're talking fantasy, but like this game right here could make him a very sought after QB on the market this offseason. But I'd still play Rashee Rice.
So I lost Herbert. I have Fields in. No choice. Those of you who lost quarterbacks, and hello, Joe. Welcome to the stream. Those of you that lost quarterbacks, did anyone pick up Gardner Minshew and get that 20 points out of him? Anyone out there? Let us know in the chat.
Not. And I lost Herbert in every league.
Yeah. That's no bueno.
I played the Raiders defense this week. Was that a good play?
That's how you get in here. Good morning. Wearing your cool new Shohei Ohtani Dodgers Christmas sweater. And what a douche. I'm
Joe,
glad you don't have any Raiders shit on. This is a big step for you in your maturity as becoming a young adult. Look at you not rubbing it in our faces.
I mean, there was 63 other options I could have wore today. And I just came and I wore this one.
Oh.
I don't like to rub it in your guys' face. Like, there's nothing. I mean, your team, you don't belong to that team. You're just fans of the team. It's already tough enough that you got to sit there and watch it. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Hope that
shit. The Raiders just scored again. Oh, did you see that?
I hope this is the catapult to the Chargers dominating this division so that we can always thank the Raiders for getting us a new coach in a new direction. Like that would be the greatest thing that could come out of this.
A new coach, shiny new toy. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Raiders looking out for the Chargers.
Brock Bowers would look great in powder blue.
Unbelievably great. Yeah. Zay Flowers or Rashee Rice, Tony? You going to go with Rice over Flowers also? I think I'll go with Rice over Flowers.
Yeah, again, another matchup I like for both of these guys. I think Zay Flowers against kind of a really spotty Jacksonville secondary is also a good play. So I'm still going to start Rashee Rice because I spoke so highly of him on the first one, but I don't think you can go wrong, Albert. This is a good spot to be in. You should feel good about either one.
I'm going with Rice as well. Joe, what do you think?
Well, I like the Ravens matchup today so much that I'm even starting Odell Beckham in one league because Tyreek Hill's out. So, of course, Zay Flowers should have a good matchup.
Are you sick?
But who are you? Are you picking Rashee Rice or Zay Flowers?
I said Zay Flowers. That's why I like his matchup.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you wanted to be wrong. So Rashee Rice, Albert.
Don't touch me.
You can just find me on Facebook, brother. At the
Tony Tucker.
Yep.
The Tony Tucker is always wrong on Facebook.
Oh my goodness.
Kincaid or Ingram? I'm going with Ingram on this one. Kincaid has been on a stink fest the last month. I don't know what's going on. I think it might have something to do with Dawson Knox coming back.
Yeah, I don't think that it's that as much as this, the new offensive system that they have is including James Cook more than we expected.
Maybe.
And it's this is what we were saying all year was what is up with the usage of James Cook? And then they've had probably two of their better offensive outputs in the last couple of weeks with Joe Brady taking over and doing that. I'm going to go Evan Ingram. He's kind of sneaky the best receiving option on that team. I know everybody loves Calvin Ridley, and he finally had a big game last week, but I just still think Evan Ingram is set for 9 to 10 targets from Trevor Lawrence in a game that is going to be tough, and they really need it.
Joe?
I actually think I'm going to go Evan Ingram as well over Kincaid. Not by much. I don't know if there's going to be a huge difference in these two, but like Tony said, there's a little difference in that Bills offense since Dorsey's been out the door. So I like the James Cook, so I want to hope that James Cook gets every touchdown in there. And Evan Ingram, did he score one touchdown last week? One touchdown last week. So
yeah,
I think they look at him. I think he's more of the target down there. Everybody wants Ridley to score, but it's always Ingram, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
He's having one of those situations where it's when you get the Where's Waldo book and you have a lot of trouble finding him on the first page, but then you just start getting locked in. You start finding Waldo really fast. This is how touchdowns are going to go for Evan Ingram over the end of the season. He's going to start finding Waldo a bunch.
Put him in, Zero. Put him in.
So Roquan Smith knocks his ass out, and then we're like, oh, okay.
Roquan Smith is trying to knock people out.
Those books were like torture for me. Those were.
Zero said no way in hell that he'd show his face if he was a Chargers fan for that game. Let's not talk about the Chargers anymore. That's in the past. This is Sunday morning, not Thursday morning. I have a video coming out talking about how many minutes it's been, how many seconds it's been, how long it's been since that game. We need to stop talking about it.
Also, Zero, I've never seen your face, bro. You got to show your face at some point, anytime. Why aren't you? You need to get into the DMs of these gentlemen and come on MJT and hang out with us.
Oh, there you go. And look that's what he looks like. He just looks like his puppy.
I would take that. If
he is the dog typing right now.
Yeah, he just sets the collie in front of the camera and then just talks off screen. I'm fine with that.
Hey, so the Panthers-Falcons game and the Bears and Browns game looks like it's going to be all rain, right? Is that what we're looking at? 90% chances of rain in all those. So you guys happy with any of those players? I know a lot of people are asking about the quarterbacks in that game, Justin Fields, the wide receivers, Amari Cooper. I don't know what's Falcon players or Panthers players you would be starting because you're probably not in the playoffs if you have any of the Panthers or Falcons players. But the other guys, are you worried about them in the weather?
Well, I will say we remember what happened last time we saw the Bears playing pouring rain. It ended with Justin Fields sliding into the end zone on the Niners.
Yeah, which wasn't good for fantasy. He got
it wasn't at all. You're right, actually.
Ended the career of Trey Lance.
Fuck.
I think I think that Desmond Ridder is a good start if you're somebody who lost Justin Herbert. Like, I think this is a good opportunity. I do think that the rain is out there, whatever, but he's got easy, big throws to make to a team that to me is like, especially defensively, they've not got a lot to play for. Like there's not a lot going on other than like their, roster spots and putting out good tape or whatever, all that stuff that goes into being a professional. I just think that the Falcons have more on the line. They're gonna grind it out. I'd still probably start Drake London, Bijan, and Ridder if you're in a pinch like I am in a few leagues.
Damon saying, y'all ready for the return of Duck Hodges? Hope he unretires because Trubisky is miserable to watch. What should the Steelers do at quarterback? Should they go and get someone else? Or should they just ride this shit out?
I'll go first. So personally, I think that they're in a really bad spot because the vibes around the organization are bad. The former players are talking shit. There's definitely a little bit of fighting that's going on the team too. But I don't think Kenny Pickett's the answer. Like, everybody keeps going, well, Kenny Pickett will be back next week. Is that a great thing? Like, they're in a weird spot where they might have to be looking at a new quarterback again next year. And what if your ownership? Do you want to just part ways with Mike Tomlin so he can come coach the Chargers? Maybe. That's an option.
I'd like that.
Let's not take anything off the table. I do think that they could be in the market for a quarterback this offseason.
Let's make it happen.
The Steelers' offense has been worse since Matt Canada got fired.
Yeah.
It didn't seem possible.
Worse. Like, they averaged less points a game, and they were losing. Like,
but they put up 400 yards, Joe.
Yeah, they were 6-4 with them, and I think what are they now? 1-3, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs.
Yo, guys, first round, Tyreek is out. He's got Zay Jones, Rashid Shaheed, or Curtis Samuel to replace him. Olave is out. Jesus, which is why I included Shaheed. Yeah, he's someone that's available like last minute on a lot of waiver wires. Joe, I want to know your opinion because I already hit up Tony about this. I'm in the same situation as Alex here, but my choices are Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel. But what's your opinions on Curtis Samuel today, Joe? You think he's got a chance to get more involved? No Brian Robinson, and Terry McLaurin is playing but just absent, I think.
It's Antonio Gibson's season, baby. That's what I'm talking about. But if I had to pick between this guy to help Alex out right here, I'm going with Shaheed, probably. Why not?
Shaheed. What do you think, Tony?
I don't like Zay Jones. Zay Jones, since he got in his little off-field stuff, he's been taken out. And why wouldn't they go to Parker Washington more, right? And then Curtis Samuel. I think there's just too many other options than Curtis Samuel. I'm not going to go with them.
I think Zay Jones has still been getting targets, though, and that's what I want. I don't know the target count. I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
Targets don't win, Tony.
What is it?
You get points per target. You're going to be like, he got 8 targets, but he only got 1 catch, so I'm happy with that.
No, but
sounds like Quentin Johnston's stat line right there.
You need opportunities to put up points, and then in a game where they're going to need that to happen, I don't think that the Ravens are going to be focused on Zay Jones. Like, I think he's going to be an opportunity to make plays. He wouldn't be my first choice, though. My last choice in this would be Curtis Samuel, because the thing is, Curtis will probably get like 8 or 9 points, and he could have a game where he gets 30 points, but I don't think that's likely. I like Shaheed back here because Derek Carr seems to like him. So I go there.
You just said that you agreed with me. You had to go do
no.
all this bullshit about Zay Jones getting targets and all this stuff just
Fine.
to agree with me.
Joe? Here it is. The next bet that I beat you in. Zay Jones outscores Rashid Shaheed. You're welcome. Alex, a.k.a. Mike's burner.
You just told him, wait a minute.
No, I take it back because I'm not going to agree with this dink.
I'm going Shaheed, but if Curtis Samuel has 30 points and I have him on my bench right next to Jordan Addison's 30 points, I'm going to jump out my window. I'm not going to fall very far because there's just the ground outside, but I'm going to jump out my window.
I hope he goes. I hope Curtis Samuel goes off
You just like seeing me in pain. Last night wasn't enough.
I want you to put him on the bench, and then I want him to go off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting him on the bench for Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is going to have 5 fucking points, and Curtis Samuel's going to have 30. Thanks to what Tony just said.
Zay Jones in the last 2 weeks. This is what my eyes do for me. I didn't need to look it up, but I knew it was a fact. In the last 2 weeks since the Christian Kirk injury, 8 targets against Cincinnati, 14 targets. Now, did those turn out to be huge games? No. But if he keeps getting those opportunities, guess what? Big game for Zay Jones today. Start him, Alex. Don't listen to Joe. He knows nothing.
I think the Jaguars are going to score around like 10 or 13 points.
You know what I do know? Everybody should have started aiding O'Connell this week. That's what I should.
I just stop that. I just don't think that we're going to be able to see what we want from Evan Ingram and Zay Jones here, Tony.
Yeah, of course we are. They need to score. They got to move the football.
I know they need to, but that's a lot easier said than done. RC Productions in the house. He sent me a big one. Renee, send it into the chat so these dudes can break it down as well. It was a bunch of players he has to choose from that are kind of meddling in similar territories. Not sure what Zero's talking about. Thoughts on Dak today? Hasn't thrown an interception in like 3 games. Something seems sketchy to me. It's like something's going wrong here. Something's up.
Dak told us what he was going to do this year. He said he was going to not throw 10 interceptions. He's sitting at 6 right now, and he's not going to throw one the rest of the year. We just jinxed the fuck out of him right there.
More today.
I think that he will go over 10. That's 4 interceptions in 4 games?
Yeah. This might not be getting looked at a lot, or at least we haven't really talked about it. But the Dallas offense, the last, couple weeks has now surpassed the Dolphins offense, right? Everybody's still believing that the Dolphins offense is all high scored. Most of them because that one game against Denver put their stats real up high. But I think Dallas is now the number 1 offense in the league, right?
Yeah, I had a video coming out, Joe. Thanks for ruining that surprise that I heard.
Maybe you should put it right next to that Charger playoff video.
The 5,000 people in here right now just got a spoiler.
I apologize for all you guys in here that were waiting for Mike's Dallas Cowboy Dak Prescott number 1 offense video. I know the thousands and thousands of you, but remember, I can do that because Mike left me in the desert, so I can do that.
But I can't confirm, Joe, because I already did the research for that video. The Dallas Cowboys have the number 1 offense in football right now.
It's confirmed.
I think they're scoring like 38.1 points or something. Like, it's unbelievable. It's awesome to see. Right, guys?
And their schedule's it has to be easy, right? Let's see, Dallas.
I picked Dallas to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Did all 3 of us pick them to go to the Super Bowl in the offseason?
I don't know.
No, I had Philly and
the
LA Chargers and the LA Chargers.
I picked Dallas.
Oh, I picked the Chargers. The AFC doesn't count. I've realized that I'm just completely clouded by because I had
the Ravens.
I had Bengals in the AFC Championship game.
Damn.
You don't want to know who I had the Cowboys playing in the Super Bowl, but I had the Cowboys.
Yeah, I had put Cowboys Chargers, but that's not happening.
Ravens Cowboys. That's our best option, guys. That's what we want to see, right? Everyone wants to see that. TDs is in the house.
49ers. Morning boy. Oh, TDs!
Yeah.
TDs! I had a 49er fan tell me yesterday, he said, Joe, what are you going to talk about when the Raiders, or what are you going to say when the 49ers come and win a Super Bowl in Allegiant Stadium, in your stadium? You know what I said? I said, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna tell you, hey, dude, turn that PlayStation off and go to bed. Because that's the only time you're going to see the Niners do that shit.
Good one.
But I love it. Niner fans are up here right now, Tony. You know, Niner fans, bang, bang. It's all over. A lot of new jerseys next week going to come out on Christmas Day. Where do they buy their jerseys at, Tony?
Wally World. They go visit our girl, Gail.
Yep. Oh, no, Gail Lewis is gone now. They got a guy starting over there as a check here. I think his name is Staley. Last name Staley. Brandon Staley.
Oh, my gosh. They fired Gail Lewis for Staley. And Staley's gonna be like a 30-year employee. He's gonna be employee of the month every month for 30 years straight. You see the second half of TD's message here. He's got the first round bye. Should we take a moment or don't want me to put my jinx sprinkled all over our bye weeks in the Las Vegas fantasy football conference? Because there's some fellow content creators out there who claim to be fantasy experts, but MJT is kind of like do top of that league.
Fantasy gods, I just want to let you know this is Mike talking shit, not me.
All right, take it all back. I take it all back. I'm gonna go back.
No, it's already been.
It's already out there, Mike. You already put it in the universe. But I will say that first round buys are nice, and I wish I had it in other leagues. So I'm in like a couple leagues, but I have 2 bye weeks, and then in my main league we have 8 guys that make it. So I don't know if I have to determine if I like the bye weeks or not, because I kind of like having the 2 extra playoff teams in your league, like having 8 teams in there, just because it gives more people chances. And then that number 1 seed, hey, you can get knocked off by that 8 seed if you're not careful. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't like the bye weeks.
So I've always thought 7 was the perfect number. So it's just the one team that has the best record gets a bye, right? Like the 2 bye weeks to me is a little weird that way. It's just like the NFL. You get the extra spot, and then the one person who has the best record, most points, whatever throughout the season, they're the team that reaps the benefits. But it really sucks when the 1 seed, he's the best team all year, and he goes down to the 8th seed in the first round. It's like, why did I even do this? Like this loser limped in here and then gets lucky. I don't like that.
I saw a quote like, man, I wish I would have saved it. If somebody said something like 14 years or 14 weeks of like hard decisions and going to making sure my lineup was correct just to lose to the Raiders defense in round 1, something like that.
Well, think about how many teams that are in the first 2 seeds or the first seed have Tyreek Hill on their team. Basically, all of them.
Yeah.
One of the best fantasy seasons of all time happening.
And that's the thing, Tony. You can be the number 1 team in your league the whole year, and then like come playoff time, you get hit. And injuries happen to every fantasy team, right? It just depends on when. So if you get hit early in the season or you get hit late, there's always one team that rises from the bottom to the top, and there's always one top team that drops. And injuries, it just depends on when you had. So it like Mike said, when Tyreek Hill falls out and you have Tyreek Hill and Chris Olave this week, you're like, oh shit, I'm done.
So I've always been of the mindset too that I think that the teams that make the playoffs, trading should be open back up for right before the playoffs start, right? Like for that playoffs get locked in after that Monday Night Football game, and then there's a trade window that can open up from Tuesday until Thursday before kickoff, where trades could be pushed through by the commissioner of anything that wants to go on. But it can only be between the 6 or 8 teams that make the playoffs, right? Like, because it really is like having a second season. It's not really like we don't control like it's not like the NFL. We don't control who plays, who does what, who does whatever. So I just thought it would be interesting to have that moment where you got there and it's like, oh, I could have a chance to make my roster better with other than what's on the waiver.
I think you need to email Sleeper right now, Tony. Throw that idea out there.
Yeah.
Well, we could do it now. It just needs to be agreed upon because the trades could be pushed through anything can be done by the commissioner. I'm pretty sure you can swap players. Whatever you want.
Can you fix a lineup mistake where you accidentally let Keenan Allen in?
Well, I just want to say a big F you to the Pittsburgh Steelers before we move on.
Everything about the Steelers, and I'm glad Bodo's not here, or if he is driving and he's just listening to this right now, I'm sorry, but everything about the Steelers is sad. The first play of the game yesterday is Najee Harris, who's one of the most powerful backs, getting walloped. And I was like, oh, what happened here? Like, just unblocked and just getting smashed 2 yards behind the line. This guy's gone downhill every year in his career. George Pickens, there is a great play that I think if Mike was a worse person would have made a video about this, and maybe he did, and he's a terrible person. He's holding a block. Jalen Warren's about to go in and score a touchdown. I went and watched it last night, Mike. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And this is a franchise that had Hines Ward, one of the best blocking wide receivers ever. Like, there is a tradition of blocking. George Pickens is the guy who was burying people in the dirt, and then he just Olay and Jalen Warren gets macked.
Correct. Yeah.
How are you not saying Mike's not a horrible person? He left me in the desert, Tony.
I
told bringing that up.
Where do you think you got the idea from? I'm the one who said he's like, yeah, I'm just waiting for Joe. He's in the store, and I said, squawk them tires, bro. Get out of there.
He needs to stop bitching. It was only a few miles. Jesus.
Only a few miles. 200 miles from my house, Mike.
You got there, didn't you? Oh, I forgot Renee's. He said he already decided on this. I don't know who he decided on. I was thinking Swift and Reed. I think Tony was thinking someone else. What were you saying, Tony?
So I went Reed, Kincaid, Swift, Douglas, CEH should be traded for the running back or dropped and add the running back from Varsity Blues.
Joe, what would you do here?
I don't know. I know I'm not going CEH. I'll tell you that. But I don't know. I like Swift. I like Kincaid, but I don't. You guys really like Reed that much?
Yes.
I think I do.
So the other guy that he's been working with, Dontavian Wicks, he's a little banged up. You got Watson still out, so that puts Reed kind of further up the food chain there. They like to use him on those quick jet sweeps, end around type plays down in the red zone. That's an opportunity for touchdowns for him there. So he's a Michigan State guy. Anybody from Michigan, you're always going to get a little bump from me. And then Swift, the issue is I don't know what the game plan is. If I knew that this was the Eagles team of last year and even Miles Sanders was going to get 15 to 18 touches, then I would do that. Like, Swift would be my number one if I had any beat on what I thought the Eagles were going to do. But I don't know. So
it's bounce back game time. Bounce back game for the Eagles this week. Wishful thinking, and I think it actually is going to happen. Doug, you know what's crazy is, Tony, is that Douglas runs a lot of the same stuff that Reed does too. I just don't think that the Patriots offense, one, they don't have a good matchup at all, and two, they just aren't as potent, or they're not doing as well lately as the Packers. I think the Packers have a lot higher chance of getting Reed into the end zone today than Douglas does. But Douglas is Renee's guy, so it gives him even like a little bit more.
I do think Douglas has a future in the NFL, whether it's with the Patriots or not. I think he's a good NFL player, right? They're playing the Chiefs. I think this is going to be a nightmare for Bailey Zappi. I was at my wife's Christmas party, and I was talking to a Patriots fan, and he's like, who knows? Maybe Bailey Zappi's our next Tom Brady. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you want him play the Chargers and score 0 points. I haven't got to see him yet, but I want to see him and go, hey, this is the same defense that gave up 63 points to the Raiders.
Who had a backup quarterback also.
Got 0.
Well, your defense didn't give up all those points.
I don't know. What position?
Your defense gave up, what, 51? 52?
I feel like Easton Stick plays something on the defense.
Because when the Raiders defense scores, it doesn't count against your defense.
It does. More maybe. You not feeling good?
0. Do the Cowboys have the number 1 defense right now?
Joe, you're making people sick with your fucking Chargers hate stuff.
Yes, I gotta go.
Bye, Tony. We'll finish this comments off, and then we'll get out of here.
Have fun. All that good stuff.
Tony still has hangovers from the 63-21 loss.
We need to stop bringing it up. Stop bringing it up. But the Cowboys have a chance to have number 1 offense and number 1 defense this year. That means that the Cowboys should be going, Joe. They should be going.
Yeah.
This is the year. This is their year. We said it at the training camp. Remember, we were talking to Cowboys fans, and we were saying this is the year. This is the year with a little more emphasis.
Well, yeah, I think it is the Cowboys' year, and Niner fans are like, "Well, we whooped the shit out of them. You guys whooped the shit out of them before the Cowboys even got their offense going and got. It's going to be a different game when they meet up again. The Raiders did the Chargers fans a favor. Is that true, Mike?
In a way, not very nicely. It could have just been like a 17-14 favor. That would have been good.
Oh, that's a cool name. The Plot Pickens. Yeah, and I think not even just your fantasy team name. I think the only reason George Pickens is still out there is because his name too, and people go, "Well, Pickens can. I mean, he can do this." But if he was anybody else, Mike, if George Pickens was anybody else, like some random ass guy's name, like Zay Jones, he wouldn't be on our team right now.
Well, the plot Pickens, if you drop Pickens, because now it's like, wow, plot twist. He dropped the guy his team's named after.
You know who runs killer jet sweeps? My Steelers.
Those jet sweeps are ugly.
That's an old school not joke right there. You know who runs killer jet sweeps? My Steelers. Not. That's how. I don't know. Yeah. You're probably too young for that, Mike. But
I got the emphasis there. I don't know what it's from though.
My generation, we used to always say that. We'd be like, "This pen is not blue." That's from Borat.
Psych. Gotcha.
Last minute emergency pivot off of Lavi. Options are McLaren, Jigma, Zay Jones, OBJ, Shaheed, or Antonio Gibson.
I'd probably go JSN or Rashid Shaheed. One of those two. Either one.
See, I was thinking JSN would be a good one. Shaheed's a good one. I'm starting OBJ in a league this week because I'm desperate and I need it. But
I think Shaheed has a higher ceiling, so I think it depends on your matchup. Super C&B challengers. Do you think that you need a safe play, a low floor play? I'll probably go with JSN, or maybe even like you said, OBJ. But if you're going for that high ceiling play, you need someone to fill in and put out the same production as Olave. Shaheed.
Yeah, you're looking like it. Yeah, it just depends on how much you're looking for. But the safer plays would be.
You're also just risking it because the freaking Saints just have weeks where they just don't do anything. The whole offense. Thank you, Derek Carr.
Because then if you go with Shaheed, you're kind of trusting Derek Carr and the roller coaster.
It's a wild ride. And he could not even make it through the game. We could see Jameis Winston in there at some point. So
roller coaster will start.
Floor play, yeah. If you're going for the safe play, I think JSN's the safest play. I think you can expect 4 or 5 catches, 50 yards, and a good chance at JSN getting some targets in the red zone. Very, very minimum is what I'm saying. He could have a better game than that, obviously, if things go right. All right, Joe, we got them all. We caught up. Now we got to go set our lineups. Get ready for football this week. Our teams don't play, but, we got some important fantasy playoffs on the line.
Anything good on Underdog today?
I'm not playing today. I should have, but maybe I'll put one in right before kickoff here.
Yeah, I was gonna see like there should be some good ones out there. I don't know what it is, but
start Josh Allen, Chandler.
I saw something, Mike. Maybe you can get pissed off at this too. I saw something today not this week that said if Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills beat the Dolphins this week, then Josh Allen should be back in the MVP running. Get that out of here.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think they should give the MVP to Christian McCaffrey. That's what they should give it to.
Well, yeah, and the Niner fans will be like, it should be Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's not even like the top 5 player on his team, dude.
He's not. Anyways,
you saw how much Purdy missed CMC when he was gone. So
it seems like if they lose anyone, like if they lose Trent Williams for one game, they're way worse. If they lose Deebo Samuel, they're way worse. If they lose CMC, they're way worse. Like they're a house of cards team where if they lose one player that forces the stress on the defense, it gets worse immediately when the weapon the amount of weapons shrink. Anyways, we'll see how it goes in the playoffs because that's when it all matters, and the chips will be down, Joe.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week or sometime this week.
Yes, sir. We have an upload coming out here at the beginning of the week. Me and Tony did some recordings last week. We talked about extending quarterbacks. So that's going to be the upload. Just keep an eye on it. Eye out on it. It's probably going to drop tomorrow afternoon, y'all. Please like the stream, like all of our videos. Go and binge watch the last 2 uploads. We uploaded 2 new ones this week. And make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Hopefully, y'all win your playoff matchups for fantasy football playoffs round 1. Hope you all win your championships. Joe, anything else?
That's it.
See y'all.